top of Pike Street. Boost Mobile just came in last week, but you have the liquor store, you have the Chinese restaurant, you have Port Jervis Pizza, you have the laundromat, you have JJ International Deli, you have the barber shop, so and you have Dad's Change of Pace. Something else could go in there and can be very, very viable for our Upper Pike Street business district. And also, the Red Cross was called and contacts made for the people who were displaced in that fire. We've been working on the watershed park now probably close to a year, really getting it going. One of the issues that you always have with something like that is emergency egress regress. How do you, if somebody's injured, if there's an incident, how do you get somebody in and out? And there's an emergency management program that's put together. I took it upon myself to work over the last several months on an emergency management guide. The fire chiefs have it now. It is a 28-page document. This will be given to, it'll be released probably within 2 weeks, but it will be given to the Sparrow Bush, Huguenot Fire Departments, the Deer Park Police Department, Port Jervis Police Department, Port Jervis Fire Department. These would all be the, and Port Jervis Ambulance. These would all be the first responders, and they would know how to access the park and where to be able to go, and if there's an injury, how to make contact. As I've said in the past, most of the watershed, probably 95% of it, maybe even more, and I have Verizon. I can't talk about the other carriers, but for Verizon, about 95% of the park is covered by cell phone service. But this emergency management guide allows the emergency teams to be able to access the park from different spots that the DPW is working diligently on as they create a gating system within the watershed park itself. This also includes the Elks Bronx Park. Just so you're aware, the Elks Bronx Park has its own set of rules and does allow for different recreational activities, including fires in designated areas in the campground. There's also camping that is designated but will be activated. But I do want to say that the Common Council was made aware that we made in April 25th, we designated the Port Jervis Watershed Park, but we have to define some of the rules. And some of the rules that are going to go into the Watershed Park new resolution, which should be available next week. Well, it'll be available to you guys before next council meeting, but for the next council meeting, are some of the things that we talked about as far as in the Watershed Park alone. There will be no hunting, fishing, boating, camping, or fires. Now, that doesn't mean that that might not vary or alter or change down the road when the park gets built up a little bit bigger. But the problem is that we don't have designated areas to put camping in the Watershed Park. We don't have areas to have any open fires, and quite honestly, at this point in time, we don't want to have any. So the only place that would have them would be the Elks Bronx Park, which would permit the fires for barbecuing and camping. Everything else would be pack in and pack out. For people who would go to the Watershed Park area around the perimeter of the property, it is still posted as the City of Port Jervis watershed property. It specifically states there's no hunting, no fishing, and no trespassing. I want to make people aware that because the council on April 25th and a vote prior to that, I believe it was last year, allows for hiking and biking. As long as you are hiking and biking, you are not trespassing on the property. But that's going to be a little bit more defined in our resolution that we'll have in 2 weeks. And as it was said before by Ms. Fitzpatrick, this is a pack-in, pack-out park. If you bring something in with you, please make sure that you take it out. There'll be no dumping or littering in the Watershed Park recreation area or the Elks Bronx Park. And it is very important for people to realize that we are going to be installing cameras throughout the park system, and that we will catch you and we will have you prosecuted. But this This emergency management guide and the meeting will probably be within the next week, week and a half, with the the chiefs of the emergency service, including OEM. Tonight, I'm going to make an appointment of our the City of Port Jervis, New York State Master's Plan and Code Review Committee. Those committee members currently are Dominic Sicalise, Stan Siegel, Kristen Trovey, Eric Hipsman, and Jerry Oni. I want to thank them all for stepping up and saying that they'd be willing to be a part of this. And of course, it'll be led by David Bavozo, and Mr. Bavozo will make contacts with all of you to set a time and a place that's and a date that's convenient for all of you. I just want to read a letter written to us October 4th, 2016. It's actually written to Mr. Jack Farr, as it's his direct supervisor. This letter is from Walt Howard. Please accept this letter of my irrevocable letter of retirement from the City of Port Jervis, Water Department in the City of Port Jervis, effective November 11, 2016. Mr. Howard has been with the city for the last 22 plus years, but feels it is time to move on to the next chapter. So we will currently need to begin looking and talking as a council on this position, because this is the position that takes care of our watershed property. And I want to thank Walt for his many years of service. The Tri-State Chamber of Commerce announces a special membership celebration event. If you haven't seen this, I will post it to the website and also post it to Facebook. But the Tri-State Chamber announces the inaugural Kucher's Kids Shoe Drive, aimed at helping to provide local children in need with a pair of shoes beginning November 2nd, 2016. They will be collecting new shoes, sneakers, and boots for children, and these footwears will be distributed through local charities. I want to thank the Chamber for hosting this. I want to thank some of the prizes that are being given out, encouraging people to be involved in this. There also is, I just want to do a shout out to Mary Decker from Bon Secours Community Hospital, because this was her idea she came up with, and the Chamber took a hold of it. So this will be posted. Just a reminder that not this Saturday, but next Saturday is the Will of Orange on 10/22. That is a run race that is a 10, 25, and a 50K. I can't run 1K, so I won't be running, but I'll be there in spirit. And then the following weekend is the Erie 80, and that is a 20, 40, and 80K race throughout our watershed area. I encourage people to be involved in these activities. Just a notice of hearing. As many of you may or may not know, the city has been working very hard to get an actual railroad crossing at Fowler Street, right behind the Erie Depot. And we finally have made some headway, including a notice of a public hearing that will be held in front of Honorable Alicia McNally, Administrative Law Judge for the New York State Department of Transportation, in this council room, excuse me, Port Jervis City Hall on Wednesday, October 27th at 11 a.m. This letter, dated April 11, 2016, the city requested a hearing to consider its request to modify the at-grade rail crossing to include standard warning devices and other necessary upgrades to ensure pedestrian and/or vehicle safety. Last week, it feels like yesterday, but 2 weeks ago, Flo Santini was here. Thank you. Gina Tanky was with her, and this was in regards to the seniors' Thanksgiving dinner. I just want to remind people you can contact the seniors. This dinner is going to be 3 p.m. on Saturday, November 19th. You can either call Flo, Gina's name's right on it, Flo at 856-2210, extension 2, or Gina at 313-2663. This will also be posted on Facebook. Sometime last week, the county executive's office put out what's called an information and guidelines for an arts, heritage, and tourism grant. The reason I bring it up today is because it almost seemed like immediately I had people shooting me ideas. Just so we're all aware that this is for any activity throughout the entire county. I believe the cap of the grant is $40,000, but it's at $5,000 a clip. So if we do the math, there's only 8 people who are going to get this. So some of the questions that were brought up, we have one person who's interested in putting a piece of art that would be more leaning towards our local recognition for the city of Port Jervis, and they would want to put it where the old orange structure was. I don't know what they called it. It had a name, but that was removed down on the corner of Pike and Front Street. Resolve, right? Resolve is the name of it. It was something Resolve. And so I had another person contact us about having a mural painted, but this was on private property, which is the wall next to the Hunt building that you can see from Pike Street. And the last idea was somebody wanted to make a path or a trail that would include stairs from the bottom of West Main Street up to the Turntable Trail. And looking at all these, the third one that I mentioned, and I talked to a couple construction people, is it would be too cost prohibitive to do that. We wouldn't be able to do that. The other 2 are, but I will bring them up to the council. If anybody else has ideas, anybody can apply for this grant. And again, it'll be 8 grants throughout the county at $5,000 a piece. And there's pretty extensive paperwork that goes with it because I printed all the paperwork that goes with it. This letter I'll give to you because I got one, and the Port Jervis Common Council got one. This is from the gentleman who wants the mural painted on the wall. He's making the recommendation. So I'm pretty sure it all came in the same package as mine. So I wanted to let you know that we in the Hudson Valley have a mayor's forum, and I've gone to a couple of them, and we had one scheduled for today, but it was canceled due to many conflicts. However, it's being rescheduled for November, and it's important that it is. I'm going to really try to make this one because the town of Richmond Hill, I'm not sure exactly where it is, but the town of Richmond Hill put together a comprehensive program, like this, on festivals and events and their strategies. And how does a town pay for the events, and what is valuable to the town or the city, and what is not, and how much do the taxpayers expect to spend compared to what the event holder should be spending. So, well, the meeting's going to be held November 3rd at 1 p.m. And it's Kingston's turn to host it, so it'll be up in Kingston. So, No. As a matter of fact, Valerie went with me to the last one in Poughkeepsie. So, yeah, that's why I mention it. So, if anybody's interested in going, okay. But I thought of you right away.
I don't know why.
I think that is all that I have. Yes. Okay, that's it. Try to make it real quick. City Clerk Treasurer's Report, Ms. Wazenager.
Yes, I will report to the City of Port Jervis that I went to the last Association of Towns, Cities, and Villages meeting where we received our annual update from Orange and Rockland Utility Company. The one thing that they were there to let us know about is the fact that from now through 2018, they will be doing a massive project to replace all the meters throughout their entire service area to automatic read meters that can be read remotely by computer through a computerized system, such that they will no longer need meter reading staff and will no longer be having to access your basement or wherever your meter is anymore. And they're doing this system on a cost-neutral basis because all the money that they're going to spend on the equipment and the installation is going to come from the staff reductions. They're going to eliminate approximately 600 They claim they're going to do that through attrition and not do layoffs, but that remains to be seen. And secondly, they are also doing this to enhance their emergency response system, such that when the power is not coming through your meter, they would get a reading automatically through their computer system, and they claim it will help them identify areas of specific residences or anything that are out during any type of an emergency situation. So that will be going on between now and 2018. And we also heard from the county executive on his budget update as well, which he did publicly a few days following. And that is all I have from the City Clerk Treasurer's Office at this time.
Thank you. Old business, Mr. Randazzo.
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Fitzpatrick.
No old business. Thank you.
Mr. Belcher.
Yeah, I think Fort Jervis Fire Department did a hell of a good job today fighting that fire up on Pike Street. Could have been a lot worse than it was because it involved pretty good sized buildings. And also, I think we owe a lot of thanks to the responding mutual aid companies that responded to help us out. Fire police, they had a tough day today too. Jervis came along to help out. All the fire companies, they did a great job.
Thank you. Ms. Hendrick.
Thank you. I would just like to also extend my congratulations to the rec department for the bike race. I brought my family up there. It was a wonderful day. There were a lot of young people from different colleges and their families came. It was a successful start, and I really do hope that they come back. I'd also like to congratulate the farmers market, and they had a wonderful breakfast, and I love any kind of breakfast or lunch or dinner, so I enjoyed that. And also I'd like to express my condolences to Flora Laura, the loss of her business, and also to the families that were displaced today. It's a tragic thing to lose all of that. It's very, in a fire. And that's it, I think.
Thank you. Mr. Rebozo.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to echo George's comments regarding the fire department, and also yours and Sarah's comments regarding the farmers market. I was down there for the breakfast, and then after the breakfast, I bought breakfast sausage, which I ate for the next 2 days from one of the booths down there. So, the sad thing is sometimes that you hear from people more about what this city or what this community doesn't have. But the truth is the things that we do have are pretty great. And, Sarah Worthy did a fantastic job with the farmers market this year. I was down there. Most weekends I did miss a few, but it was really nice to have that in town in such a nice area and with the vendors that we had. And then going back, just as George said, what's remarkable about our fire department is that they're volunteers, and those guys and ladies have been out there, like Stan said, for 12 hours or more all day working on that, and that's a pretty incredible thing in my opinion. So thank you in regard to both of those things. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Foster.
Breakfast sausage is always good. I got to give you credit there. But thanks for Sarah Worthy for everything that they've done. And also kudos to the fire department. I know they put long hours in talking with them, going down there. They do a tremendous job, especially what happened today. And my heart goes out to Flora Laura, Mike and Laura. They did lose a lot. She does put a lot of energy and hard work in what she does, especially with the Fall Foliage Festival that we just had. So I want to thank the fire department and my condolences to Flora Laura. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Van Horn.
I don't want to reiterate too much what everyone said. I will say that the Humane Society will have a food and clothes drive for the 10 families that lost their homes today, and they will waive any adoption fees if those families want to come and adopt a pet when they're ready.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Obi?
Thank you. I would also like to congratulate the farmers market on a successful breakfast. There was a wonderful turnout, and I hope that there are more of them next year. Maybe they can bookend the season and have one to kick off the season and one to end it. And thank you to all the sponsors that the mayor mentioned, plus Sarah Hendry. I know she was there bright and early in the morning helping to set up. And I'd also like to extend my thoughts and prayers to Flora Laura, Mike and Laura Meyer for their loss of their business today and the residents that were displaced by this morning's fire. But I am relieved that no one was injured. Thank you to all the volunteer firefighters and emergency management providers for their assistance. And I'd also like to thank the public for their support. I was down there asking if anyone needed anything, and I was told that all day long there were people down there. Stan had mentioned all the businesses and people that were coming down there bringing food and water. And as Stan also said, one of the best things about our community is its ability to come together to try to help and support everyone and each other in times of need. So I'm very sorry for the fire, but thank you to everyone that helped.
Thank you. Mr. Siegel.
Thank you. We were out of town for the farmer's market breakfast, and as Sarah enjoys a good meal, as do I, albeit a healthy meal, which it was. So I'm looking forward to at least one or two next year so that we can fix our calendar so we'll be here. But I did hear it was great, and I don't know of any other place that has something like that, so just another thing that we in Port Jervis do, because we're a small community that cares about each other. A while back, when the people from the Port Jervis Plaza presented their plans a couple times to codes, they indicated they would come back with some updates. Have we had an update? Recently, I spoke to Tom Vicarello yesterday and today, and he doesn't remember any updates. I think we need an update on what's going on. They're in phase 3. The lot should be done. I don't see anything getting done there. People are asking all the time what's going on, who's coming in, are there any stores? We have no knowledge, so I would like to request that they come to the next meeting and present us with it.
They were already requested to come to the IDA meeting.
Well, we don't all go to IDA
No,
meetings.
no, I know that, but we would get that report from IDA
Okay. When would that be?
next Wednesday.
Okay. But they were going to come to the council and talk to us, and I think they need to do that.
I
But
will
anyway,
talk
if
to
you
them.
don't
I just
think
got
so-
your email yesterday, so I will talk to them.
And that's all about old business.
Thank you. And new business?
Yeah, I neglected, when I was doing all the information about today's fire, I neglected to indicate that the next fire emergency management meeting is October 17th at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, and I apologize to the two members that showed up on the wrong date because the first calendar was incorrect, but the new calendar's been corrected, so my apologies that I did not see that when the first calendar came out. So it's the 17th at 7 p.m. right here. The fire that we had today, as tragic as it was, could be a really good thing. We had abandoned building, actually two there, that was condemned. We had, unfortunately, Flora Laura, that had a lot of stuff in it, good stuff, and I use the word stuff because I don't know what else to call all that. Some of the treasures, and I spent a lot of time with Laura today, and some of the treasures she had in there are just unbelievable. A lot of stuff from the flow gene she bought, the cash register, which I think they were able to retrieve because it was close enough to the front door to go get it. But they had the soda fountain from Newberry's, and it's in the back of the building, and God, I hope that when the upper parts come down, I hope that they can get that. That is a treasure that anybody that lived in Port Jervis in the 60s and the 70s would remember going to Newberry's. First of all, going to the candy counter, but second of all, going to the counter where that fountain was. And she just happened to notice it and got a good deal on it. So I hope, those are kind of things that you can never get back once you lose it. And evidently, she had a lot of treasures that nobody knew because she kept them in the back of the building because that was going to be her start for her new business. So I hope that they get it. It just broke my heart to see her just looking at all her treasures, which I call stuff, she calls treasures, and they are treasures, just being burned up. It was so tragic. But on the other side of it, we'll end up with several lots there, and maybe, because the rest of the block is in pretty good shape, pretty aesthetically nice to the period, maybe somebody will buy some of those properties and put up some buildings and bring back Upper Pike Street to what it once was in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And that's my hope. So a lot of times from bad comes good, and I think from this bad will come good. I just want to caution everybody that while the demolition is going on, there are delays going on East Main Street in the west direction because of a lane closure. You can't make a left-hand turn onto Pike Street. So the two lanes are converging, and oddly enough, I got stuck in it coming to the meeting, not thinking about it. So local people should use alternate routes to get from wherever they're going to, say, West End or to Matamoros or whatever. Try to stay off of East Main Street while the demolition is going on. And once again, I just want to thank everyone that was involved in today's fire for all that they did. There was a gentleman, I don't want to mention his name, but there was a gentleman that spent most of the day with me when I was on the Pike Street post, helping out, especially with the food, the water, the cones, the barricades. He didn't need to do that, but he did do it because he's a local resident that cares, actually lived on that block. So people can say what they want to say about Port Jervis, and there's a lot to be said about some, but not enough is said about the others. So thanks again to everybody. The firefighters that came from out of town came here, spent a lot of time here, did whatever it had to do. The businesses were more than hospitable. I didn't realize when we went to breakfast that they were writing up a tab that we're not going to get charged for. Price Chopper, because an employee, this man's wife actually, lives in Port Jervis. Price Chopper, it must have been 8 or 10 cases of water and 4 large subs. It's just great. It's a great feeling, especially if you're there all that time and you see what's going on and you see the devastation, but then again you see the good people. I'm proud to be a Port Jervis. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Trovey, new business.
No new business, but I did forget to mention under old business that the Chris Kindle market applications are still being accepted through the end of the month, and they are available on the Port Jervis City website. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Van Horn.
No, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Foster.
Yes. I would like to make a motion to enter into executive session after public comment regarding the following matters: a personnel matter relating to the DPW, and invite the DPW Director Jack Farr, along with the Assistant DPW Director Steve Duryea; a contractual matter regarding the CSEA; the potential lease of city property to Energy in the Bank; the potential sale of city-owned property on Farnham Street; a personnel matter regarding the Fire Inspector's Office and the Building Department. I would like to invite Dave Rivera, the Building Inspector; and a personnel matter regarding the Assessor's Office. And upon the conclusion of executive session, the council will also be meeting with our legal counsel for advice regarding matters involving attorney and client privilege. And I'd like to make that a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Foster, second by Mr. Bozo. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Bozo?
No new business. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Hendry?
Just that I would like to wish all of the community participants and all the students that will be participating in Rachel's Challenge tomorrow at the high school good luck. I believe at least one of our council members will be there tomorrow. It's an excellent program, done very well. I participated in it 2 years ago. Definitely something you will remember. And something that the kids will remember. So I'm very happy that our community is able to participate in that. And I just want to thank Mrs. Addy and Mrs. Hoofler, who spent a lot of time doing